How do you think about the sales process when you've got an inbound team and an outbound team? And there's companies here that do both.
Yeah, how many of you guys use SDRs or BDRs? Okay, cool. So becoming a big trend these days, for those of you who maybe not know the terminology, it's usually more of a junior level salesperson, like a new hire that's really just setting appointments and doing a lot of cold calling. So we started out with no SDRs, no BDRs. Has anyone, I don't know if anyone's gone to business school and done the Harvard Business School case on HubSpot. Has anyone done that? It's actually taught in first year marketing for all 900 of the I just did the class 2 weeks ago at HBS. They teach it to all of them. I'm in the class pounding the table saying I need to hire cold callers. And Brian and Dharmesh, our founders, saying we were in Time magazine saying cold calling is dead. You know, how could we do this? So it was a little bit of an awkward moment, but thankfully I'm good at sales and eventually won that argument. But my whole point there was, you know, when you're running sales, you guys know that quarterly number and that annual number is your number. And there are going to be some quarters and some years where the wind is at your back because of the team around you, the product team, the marketing team. They make your job easy. And there are going to be quarters and years when they make your job hard, or the economy does, or whatever. But it's your number, and when you crush it, you're a hero, and when you don't, you are fired, right? So it's black and white. And I was just really concerned that if I didn't have these SDRs cold calling, like our inbound lead flow was phenomenal, but what happened if it dried up one quarter? What was I gonna do? I just needed a backup plan. So that's what I did was I just said, just let me hire 2 of these SDRs. We'll put them in a corner somewhere, let them cold call, and if we need them one day, we can use them, right? And eventually we were gonna need them, right? Now, the one thing that I'd be cautious about is when you are starting out, if you have any sort of inbound lead flow, and even if you don't, try just to hire salespeople that are gonna run the full cycle. They're gonna call the inbound leads, do the prospecting, maybe even do the cold calling, and do the demos and the trials and the closing. And run that for a couple of months. And then, first off, 2 months into the job, they're always gonna ask for SDRs, right? Like this is what they want. You guys have probably gone through that. Some of the founding CEOs are probably smiling about that. So once you establish a baseline, then hire 2 SDRs or 1 SDR and run a test, right? So you already know what they can do without an SDR, and you know what kind of revenue they can produce. You'll calculate what kind of uptick you need to justify the hire of that SDR and challenge them with that. So I ran that experiment a number of times on our inbound funnel. I said, okay, guys, I know that you guys, without an SDR, you do like 30 opportunities a month and 15 demos and close 5 customers for like 5,000 MRR a month. Let's add an SDR, fine. You 3 guys, you guys are our top performers. Here's an SDR, but you gotta raise your productivity to 6,500 or it doesn't make sense for me to hire this person. So let's run it for 60 days and see if you can do it. We ran that test 3 times over the years and never pulled it off. So I would just be cautious about introducing SDRs too early because you can't go back once you do. And I'd be really cautious about using them on the inbound leads. Pass those directly to a more qualified, experienced salesperson and see what they can do with them. So our SDRs are used, but we mostly just use them for outbound calling.
That's great.